listen, I think we share the same vibe on the digital currency. What's your take?
Yeah, it's hard to overstate how dangerous a path this is. When President Biden came into office, he ordered the Treasury Department under Secretary Yellen to actually begin a pilot program to study how this would affect the U.S. economy and the average American. We're not alone. Most Western governments also have these pilot programs. So there is a massive move toward a central bank digital currency in all of these countries. The bottom line here is not ease or convenience. That's how they're going to sell it, right? The ultimate objective is to move us to a cashless society. So you will no longer have that hard asset of that $20 bill or $10 bill. Your money will essentially be software. It will be a number in a program that the Fed, Treasury, the government, your political opponents will all have access to. They eventually want to get rid of most banks. Now, the big ones are too big to fail. But in the end, the ultimate objective is to essentially wipe all of the banks out so that your bank will be the Federal Reserve. Everything will be centralized. And again, this is not really about the money, although of course it is. This is about power and control, because the government, such as it is, will have access to all of the information related to every single transaction you make. You buy a stick of gum, the government will know. You buy a new car, the government will know. Oh, you bought the wrong car. You didn't buy an EV. Now you're going to get penalized. So in the end, Sean, this is really a move toward a CCP-style social credit system. And they're using this move to a central bank digital currency as the biggest lever to try to get us there.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we see again the mainstream media playing the Hegelian dialectic in order to move the NWO's agenda forward. And in this interview, everything was the truth, but it left out something very important. And we know what it is. Now, we know Biden did a pilot on cryptocurrencies, but guys, we know all the actual countries have been doing pilots on CBDCs and cryptocurrencies. We know all the central banks, governments are moving in lockstep. And they talked about a cashless society. We know that is definitely the truth. Getting rid of most banks. You know, I went over this. FDIC has already been planning 10 years ago. They know these smaller banks are going to collapse, and we're going to have the main big banks left. And we know this is never anything about money. It's about power and control. Remember, blockchain gives the NWO the all-seeing eye. And yes, it's going to have all your data, and your privacy is out the window, telling you what, where, and when and how to buy. And you have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. And we know the main social media platforms that we have are going to be pushing the agenda. Social credit, social shopping, social working. And you'll be doing all this from the metaverse. But guys, we know they have to do one thing. Bring in a crisis in order to move in the CBDC. And like I said at the beginning, this interview let out all the truth. But what did it leave out? That's right, the fourth industrial revolution, the most important piece. This is the reason why all this is happening. The robots, algorithms, and drones are about to take over the economy. Pay each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. Remember, crypto means hidden message, hidden meaning. These cryptos are not for you. They're for the machine. And mainstream media is not going to tell you. So when they say go back to the gold standard, we're going to have hyperinflation, they're not telling you the machines are coming to cause hyper-deflation and the tokenization of the economy. And that's the reason why Cathie Woods is so important, because, guys, she's invested in the robots, algorithms, and drones. They clearly know that the majority of the global economy is going to be ran by machines. Humanity taken out of the workforce. And why is this so important? Because America was the last free nation. This is how you bring America to its knees in order to bring about the fourth industrial revolution, the digital transformation. So you're having the fall of America to Babylon, along with the United States world reserve currency. And is the dollar going anywhere? No, but it's going to lose a lot of its power. But remember, guys, we're going to be going through hyper deflation. But you're seeing the rise of the BRICS nations. China, the dragon, along with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
It's important to note that other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is decentralized. This will be centralized within the government. Bitcoin is a technology for freedom. This is a technology for control. I mentioned this to you before. I brought my prop. I got a $20 bill. I can use this $20 bill however I choose for meat, for guns, for even illicit purposes. But when the government controls the dollar, they can control, as we talked about in the report, whether you can buy a firearm, how much gas you can buy, how much electricity you can buy. Can you buy meat, or do you have to buy bug-based meat? They can control everything that you purchase with a digital dollar and whether you can purchase anything.
Well, that's also the point, too, because if you overstep perhaps your monthly carbon footprint,
right,
or if you say something that the government doesn't like, you engage in wrongthink, they'll be able to turn off your access to your own money. So you will not be able to buy or sell anything. This is what I mean about how dangerous it is.
You're shut out of the economy if you're a wrong thinker.
Shut out of the economy. And of course, it's all subjective, and it will all be in the hands of these Marxists, right? And so you and I won't be able to buy anything. This is why it's so dangerous, because this spells the end of your economic freedom.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the American people are really paying close attention to it. I'm glad Senator Cruz and some others, Governor DeSantis, they're paying attention to it. But this is moving very fast down the track. And we need more leaders on the Republican side to stand up, and even responsible Democrats to say, look, this is not the path for the United States. Because if we continue to go down the path, you're going to lose all of your economic freedom, and economic power will be centralized in the hands of the very, very few.
There's a lot of conversation about attacks on freedom, attacks on democracy, right? And you look at all those things. Do you think this is one of the greatest threats that we face in the country, is the digitization of the dollar by the Fed?
Yes, 100%. And it's moving along a parallel track with the de-dollarization movement, where you have countries now that are dumping the dollar. It's moving pretty fast. All Saudi Arabia has to do is say, you know what, we're going to start trading oil in different currencies rather than the dollar, to have a complete global and certainly American economic collapse. And that, in a way, they want to instigate that, Sean, because if we have a true economic implosion, they'll ride in as the rescuers with a central bank digital currency.
And we were talking about that in the last segment. I'm frightened that we could lose the reserve status with the dollar. What that does for our economy, a lot of economists don't. But you look at, again, a $32 trillion debt on the way to $50 trillion in the next 10 years. The Fed has a balance sheet of almost $9 trillion. This is disastrous policy to think that the dollar is going to remain the reserve currency for much longer.
Yeah, and if that goes away, then you're going to have the kind of economic implosion we have not seen since the Great Depression. And what does that mean to you and me? That means astronomical inflation.
Yes.
That makes today's inflation look like child's play. This will be Weimar Republic kind of hyperinflation. And really, the only solution to it is going back to the gold standard, which, you know, would be difficult to do. But you've got to have our currency backed with a hard asset like gold. Otherwise, you know, you've got this free-floating dollar and system that is not backed by anything
See the
real.
Price of gold above $2,000.
Yep.
People are making a transition.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Crypto teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance, Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The Stock Channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.